What is going on, Knicks fans? Welcome back to Knicks Media. This is Richie, and I got to break down the new lineup because you see it on your screen. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and now Karl-Anthony Towns. We see him at practice this week. We heard from Cat himself for the first time as a new member of the New York Knicks. He's like, this isn't my home. It's our home, man. Hearing Karl-Anthony Towns speak to the media for the first time was awesome. And I keep asking Knicks fans the same thing on my channel. Have you guys came around on this trade? Because I remember when the trade first happened, Knicks fans were whining to me, crying. Not every Knicks fan, but a lot of you guys were upset. Where are you at now with the trade? Are you excited yet? You let me know in the comments. Big time shout out to BetUS, of course, for sponsoring Knicks Media all season long. Receive your 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% on your next two by using promo code YouTube150. Big time shout out to BetUS as always. The over-under for the Knicks this season is at 54.5 wins after that acquisition of Karl-Anthony Towns. You guys have the Knicks winning over 54.5 wins or less? You let me know in the comments. Now, you see the lineup, the starting five, it's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. And I think that this is the perfect balance of offense and defense. In my opinion, that's the biggest thing about this lineup now is people felt like, we lost our grit. We lost our toughness by giving up Randall and Dante. And people are questioning Karl-Anthony Towns' toughness. They're questioning his mindset. And it's a wait and see. We got to see what he's like as a Knick before we feel like he can definitely buy in to the Knicks culture. But look at Josh Hart. Look at Bridges and Anunoby, man. Those are the three dogs. And, of course, Jalen Brunson. But I'm just talking about from a defensive perspective. We have the gritty players on this roster, especially in the starting five, in my opinion, to match up against anybody defensively. And now you look at what this offense is going to look like. It's going to be completely different. Knicks fans, we've never had an offense that looks this good on paper. Because not only do we have an MVP candidate, Jalen Brunson, coming off last season. Now you add in a multi-time All-Star, multi-time All-Pro, and the best three-point shooting big man this game has ever seen in Karl-Anthony Towns, who put up a career-high 60-plus points last year with like 10 three-pointers made or something like that. I mean, the 1-2 punch of Brunson and Cat from an offensive standpoint is going to be a joy to watch. The spacing is going to be a thing of beauty. You can have Karl-Anthony Towns camping out in the corner, and if you don't respect Cat in the corner, then you're going to have Jalen Brunson attack the paint. You're going to have Josh Hart slash to the hoop. You're going to have even Anunoby who can dunk on somebody. You can have Bridges ISO somebody, hit that mid-range jumper with ease. If you don't respect Cat, you're going to dish it to him for an easy catch and shoot. The guy shoots over 40% from three-point land with a high efficiency. So I cannot wait to see what this starting five looks like. I also think a fun lineup is going to be Deuce McBride maybe on this team next to Jalen Brunson with Bridges, Anunoby, and Cat and Josh Hart off the bench. Obviously, it doesn't matter who starts. It's about the lineups as the game goes on, as the season goes on, as the game goes on. But watch out for Deuce McBride. I think he's going to have the six-man role this season, and I think that his ability to match up against anybody defensively at the guard spot is very important. I think the additions of Cameron Payne is going to be another important veteran piece off the bench. Precious Achiuwa providing that depth in the front court. And I think that this Knicks team, I know that a lot of fans are questioning the depth, but watch out for also the rookies. Tyler Kolek, I feel like he's going to have a big role this season for the New York Knicks off the bench as well, being that playmaker, being that guy to maybe, I don't know if he's going to get minutes right away. You let me know in the chat, folks. Like, do you see Tyler Kolek getting minutes on the opening day against the Boston Celtics? Is he going to be in that 8-9-man rotation right away, or is he going to have to prove himself a little bit to the coaching staff before he gets out there? Because I think he could be the primary backup behind Brunson at the point. I think Deuce McBride could be the combo guard off the bench as well. I also think Cameron Payne has an opportunity to play. Landry Shamet, if he makes the team, has a chance to play. So the Knicks got some interesting pieces off the bench, but when it comes to the starting five, let's focus in on that a little bit more because You look at the balance and the efficiency and what we're going to see from this team, offensively speaking, man. Anunoby and Bridges can both get you 20 a game. 20 a game if they tried, right? Josh Hart, you saw in the playoffs, he can score, he can shoot, but that's not what he's here for. He's a scrappy, gritty, go get the tough rebounds, push the ball in transition, get you a clutch shot when you need to. But Anunoby and Bridges, I think, are getting overlooked a little bit offensively. We're all obsessed with the idea of their defensive ability at the wing spot, but they could shoot the ball very well from downtown. They could put the ball on the floor and be snipers from mid-range, and they can go to the cup and finish at the rim. They're three-level scorers that are elite defenders as well. They can also space the floor. I mean, you talk about a guy in OG Anunoby, came in there in the game he got hurt, unfortunately, in game 2, I believe, against the Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. He had like 26, 28 points in the first half. I mean, we saw an offensive explosion of OG, and unfortunately, he had to tear or, rupture his hamstring in that game, which sidelined him for the rest of the series, even though he somehow went out there in game 7 with one leg and hit like 3 shots before he had to leave because he was just a liability out there, put everything on the floor. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're so obsessed with the defensive ability of Anunoby and Bridges, and we're kind of overlooking the offense. Another thing to keep in mind, Bridges is coming off an experience of being the number 1 option from an offense, right? I think I went to the podcast live, the Roommates podcast at Central Park, and they had Bridges on as a guest, and I'm sure a lot of you Knicks fans were there as well. It was awesome. And Bridges kept saying, I know you guys hate on the Brooklyn Nets. I know you guys are going to boo them, but I value my time in Brooklyn because it taught him what it's like to be the guy, right? In Phoenix, he wasn't the guy. They had a lot of options over there. Devin Booker was the guy over there in Phoenix, and he was kind of that, number 2, number 3 option in the offense. He went to Brooklyn, and he had to take on the role of being the number 1 option, the guy that everybody is trying to focus on defensively. And I think that taught a lot. That taught Bridges a lot about himself, how he can adjust, and now he's not going to be the guy. He's going to be the number 3rd option, right? You can argue he's the 3rd best player on this team offensively with Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns ahead of him, and then OG's right there. So the Knicks got plenty of firepower offensively, and I think their defense is going to be just fine because the thing about Karl-Anthony Towns that makes this offense going to flow so much better is the spacing, is playing high energy. We're talking about a 6'11" big man that could put the ball on the floor, post you up, hit a post jump hook, yam on you down low, hit a mid-range shot, hit a step-back three-pointer, you name it, Karl-Anthony Towns can do it. And when it comes from a defensive standpoint, the guy's played with Tom Thibodeau. He's going to play with high energy. He's going to play with high effort, and that's all we ask for as Knicks fans. If you put everything on the floor, Knicks fans will fall in love with you, and I expect Karl-Anthony Towns to do just that. I think he wears the pride of New York on his sleeve very well. He's coming home. He's got family nearby. He's a longtime Yankees fan. I'm a Mets fan, but still, I love to see that there's New York in his blood. He grew up a fan of the Knicks, I believe. So it's just a matter of time until we just get this lineup on the court and really see it all come together. But I'm super excited about this lineup. The more I look at this graphic about these 5 together, I can't wait for the season, man. We got preseason ball right around the corner, and we'll be breaking it all down here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video, folks. Comment down below your thoughts of this Knicks lineup and the bench unit, of course. And shout out to BetUS again for sponsoring Knicks Media all season long. Get your 150% bonus using promo code YouTube150. Love you guys. Let's go Knicks, man. Oh my God, this trade is like a week ago it happened, and now I'm really, really getting more excited about it as days goes on. Let me know your thoughts. Love you guys, and let's go Knicks as always. Peace out.